After a brief hiatus, it's back on this edition of Test Drive the Jeep Cherokee. But no ordinary Cherokee is this. This is the trail-rated Trailhawk. The return of the Cherokee is good news for those shopping in the mid-size SUV market, especially if it happens to come dressed in Trailhawk finery. It gets everything from swanky red tow hooks and skid plates to a loud and proud orange paint scheme. The downside is that not everybody was in love with its out there off-road front end. Well, I happen to be a fan. The cabin of this Trailhawk is very nicely finished indeed. To begin with, these seats are large and comfortable and give you a commanding view of the road ahead, which is important when you're off-road. It also has this. I consider the Uconnect to be the best infotainment system on the market. It's easy to use. In fact, pairing a phone is quite literally like child's play. There's also a host of other technologies. Blind spot monitoring, adaptive cruise control, it's got parallel and perpendicular park assist, as well as lane departure warning with assist. Now the assist side is very disconcerting, so it got turned off in a hurry. Power comes from one of two engines. The base 2.4 litre 4 is pretty anemic in a ride that tips the scales at 1,788 kilograms. No problem if you move up to the 3.2 litre V6. It ups the horsepower from 184 to 271 and the torque from 171 to a more rewarding 239 pound-feet. With the V6 aboard, the Cherokee steps off the line quickly and has a strong mid-range, which is reflected in the run from rest to 100k. At 7.6 seconds, it never leaves the driver hanging out to dry. Both engines are married to a 9-speed automatic transmission. My pet peeve with the Cherokee has to do with that 9-speed automatic transmission. Whilst it operates okay in auto mode, when you go to sport, it gets a bit abrupt. The more worrying aspect is the fact that during the test, I hardly ever saw 8th gear and never saw 9th gear. You ask, how do I know? Well, I put it in the manual mode, upshifted from 8th to 9th. When you do that, you expect to see the tachometer drop, indicating there's been an upshift. That never happened. I realise it's all about fuel economy, but it really does need a serious rethink. In terms of the ride and handling, the Trailhawk surprised me by how competent it proved to be through the pylons, given its off-road bias and 224mm of ground clearance. I was expecting it to heel over when pushed. It did a little, but once the long travel suspension took a set, it held that attitude well. The feel and feedback from the steering was also commendable, given the meaty 245/65 R17 off-road style tyres. These things work as well on-road as they do in the dirt. This Trailhawk has an awful lot of utility. To begin with, 297 litres with the seats up and 1554 when you fold them flat. It also has a neat twist. The back seat goes fore and aft. In other words, you can increase the cargo capacity and still carry 5 people, or you can move it all the way back to increase leg space. And finally, what would a Jeep be without a recovery strap? This one has one, and I get the sense it's going to be pulling a lot of the competition out of a mud bog. What would a Jeep be without off-road ability? For me, the answer is just another SUV. Well, fear not, the Trailhawk earns the best of the 3 all-wheel drive systems available on the Cherokee. The active drive-locked 4x4 system comes with a low-range gear set, hill descent control, and a rear diff locker. The driver can also pick automatic, snow, sport, as well as mud and sand modes. After selecting 4 low, there's also a rock mode. It gives the V6 powered Jeep a stump-pulling 48:1 crawling ratio. The Jeep Grand Cherokee Trailhawk really is without peer when it comes to off-road ability, at least in its segment. The good news is that ability really doesn't impact its on-road civility. It still handles very nicely. It's also got one of the best infotainment systems money can buy, and it's got lots of utility. Now, if only the transmission were up to the rest of the vehicle.